Well, Troy Caribe, Avondale police tell me there are suspicious circumstances surrounding the disappearance of 21-year-old Isabella Comas. Today, they identified a person of interest in the case, her boyfriend, 39-year-old Tommy Rodriguez, and they tell us he was arrested earlier this week for allegedly stealing her car.
39-year-old Tommy Rodriguez, her boyfriend, has been identified as the person of interest in this case. We saw him in court this afternoon, and we learned he has a lengthy criminal history with 5 prior felony convictions. One of those convictions and he had just recently been released from prison about 3 years ago.
So we have a missing woman out of Arizona. Her car's been found. Her phone's even been found. The weird thing about it is her boyfriend has been arrested, but he's not charged for her disappearance or, let's say, any unaliving charge. Fugitive TV. Let's get to the details. Stay tuned. Welcome to Fugitive TV. I'm your host, Ray Marcel. And what we do is we take a look at cases with either dealing with missing people, unsolved mysteries, or maybe some cases that just need a different perspective, because I was once a fugitive on the run myself from the law. I did it for 15 years. I served time. While I was a fugitive, I ended up going to school, opening up businesses, all kind of things. I ended up turning myself in. Life is great now. And now I'm talking to you guys, and what I'm trying to do is motivate the next person that they can do the same thing. I'm a great example. There's no excuses in your life. You can do whatever you want to do as long as you put your mind to it. Now, what we're going to talk about right now is the disappearance of Isabella Comas. I believe that's how you pronounce her name, right? I'm going to make sure I'm pronouncing it right. But Isabella went missing out of Arizona. Now, hold on real quick. All right, so Isabella actually went missing. She was last seen January 13th around, and this is where she went missing, or the last place she was seen was 11120 West Van Buren Street, okay? So she was last driving her car. So at first, people were looking for her in her car. Now, she does have a boyfriend, as you see in the description below, and we're going to get into that. Well, while, people are out looking for her and putting up flyers of her missing, I guess her cell phone was found by the boyfriend. This is the weird thing. I don't know if these dates are correct, but the date that I saw from the news media was that her phone was found January 12th, the day before she was reported missing. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but supposedly her phone was found January 12th, the day she was, I should say the day before she was reported missing. Now, Isabella is 21 years old. She is an adult. And I do know in some states, some counties, they have different laws to, well, if the person is over 18 or over a certain age, if they're an adult, you have to wait a certain length of time before they file a missing persons report. Okay. So I'm not sure of how Arizona works. You guys let me know how Arizona works if you're from there or familiar. But I do know some places you gotta wait 24 hours. I've even heard some places you gotta wait 48 hours before they will officially file a missing persons report for an adult. So I don't know how it works in Arizona. So if that is true, if they had to wait that, a certain amount of time, then the date does make sense, I guess. So for example, she was last seen on January 13th, but when was the official date that the police filed the missing persons report? So let's say they found the date on 14th or whatever. I'm not sure. But still, her phone was found on January 12th. Now, the odd thing was her phone was found on January 12th at a recycling center in Phoenix. Okay. Now she is missing out of Avondale, okay? And the phone was found in a recycling center in Phoenix. And you know who found the phone? The boyfriend supposedly found the phone. And I don't know if this is correct, but the boyfriend gave the phone to Isabel's family. Well, now the boyfriend has been arrested, but he's been arrested on theft. And They found her car, but I guess he was driving the car. So his charges are due to theft of the vehicle. It's a little weird because one report will say this and one report will say that. There is really no clarification on exactly if he was the one driving the vehicle. Now, if you guys heard of this case and you know the details, and he is the one that was driving the vehicle and got caught for that, please put that down below. But that's what I've been reading is he was the one that was driving the vehicle. Now I'm going to read one of these articles with you, okay? So that way you guys know and we can see this together. There's a lot of articles in this, but I'm going to pick one and read it for you. Now, her boyfriend, who was Tommy Rodriguez, he has a very questionable background. Very questionable. I mean, the man was in prison for unaliving. I'm going to tell you the details of the unaliving so you guys can make a decision. And not only that, he also got in trouble for stalking an ex-girlfriend right after he got out of prison. And he's 39 years old. Now remember, Isabel's, I believe, only 21. He's 39. Now she is a grown woman. She could be with who she wants to be with, right? She's grown. But there's just some things that are a little bit weird about the situation. All right. So let's get into a few things.
Worry and concern settled in for friends and family of 21-year-old Isabella Comas when she didn't pick up her friend for work on Sunday like she typically would. Comas didn't show up for work and no one could reach her. That was January 11th. 2 days later, police started investigating and sent out a turquoise alert. Investigators say Comas has pink hair, she's about 5'3", 110 pounds, and was wearing a white shirt with this logo on it the last time she was seen. Here's what we know. On January 11th, around 3 p.m., Comas was spotted leaving a friend's house near this area of West Van Buren in Avondale. She was driving a red Hyundai Sonata, Arizona license plate reading 2EA6LW. This newly released photo from police shows the last time Comas was seen inside this QT on North Avondale Boulevard. Police didn't specify if she was in her red Sonata or what direction she drove in when she left or if she was with anyone while inside. Then, 2 days later, which would be Tuesday night, police tracked Comas's digital footprint and found her phone and her car abandoned in this area of 67th Avenue and Indian School Road.
All right. So earlier when I said January 13th, that was because that was what I saw on a flyer. So like I said, there is some misconstrued things going on here. I'm going to show you what I saw. Let's see here. Yeah, here we go. On January 13th, 2026, at approximately 3 p.m., Isabella was last seen. So on this flyer, it says January 13th, okay? But then let's go to, where is it at? Here, from Fox 10 Phoenix, it says January 11th. So somebody messed up on the flyer. That would explain why he probably found the phone January 12th, okay? Well, this says Avenel Police Department says 21-year-old Isabella Comas's boyfriend is a person of interest in her disappearance. Okay. Then it says she went last missing January 11th around 3 p.m. Says she was driving a red Hyundai Sonata, and it gives the Arizona license plate. And it says she was not seen or heard from since. Isabella is described as a Hispanic female, 5'3" tall, weighing approximately 110 pounds, with brown eyes and pink hair. And that's her in the picture. She was last seen wearing baggy navy blue shirt, blue pants with a white stripe down the side, sandals, and Avenel Police Department said. Now, on January 12th, Como's phone was found at a Phoenix recycling center the next day. Then it says a turquoise alert was issued. On January 15th, police said her boyfriend, Tommy Rodriguez, 39 of Phoenix, was deemed a person of interest. Okay? He's been arrested on charges related to Comos' disappearance. That's what this article is saying. Nearby law enforcement agencies, hospitals, cab companies, and other emergency services have been told to be on the lookout for her. All right? And this is where she was last seen. All right. So shows right here where she was last seen. And we're gonna I'm gonna go to a map. Oh, actually, let me see where this is at. So this is a suburb of Phoenix. This looks like this is west of Phoenix. Yeah, this is a suburb of Phoenix. Okay, and it says prosecutors argue that Rodriguez should remain in jail or remain jailed to prevent destruction of evidence. So basically, saying they arrested him and he should be remain jailed so he's not out to destroy any evidence. He appeared in court January 15th on charges of theft, of means of transportation, and criminal damage. Avondale police officer Jared Redfern said the theft charges involved Isabella's vehicle, okay, which I told you guys earlier, which is directly related to her missing. All right. So it says, according to investigators, Rodriguez is also tied to recovery of her cell phone. So in this article, it says he found her phone as well. Redfern said a citizen found the phone at a Phoenix recycling center and gave it to Rodriguez. So it says a citizen found the phone, but then gave it to her boyfriend, who eventually returned it to the family before it was handed over to police. During the hearing, prosecutors highlighted Rodriguez's violent criminal history, which includes a prior conviction for unaliving. Court records show Rodriguez was sentenced to 18 years in prison for fatally shooting a man during a robbery when he was only 15 years old. His record also includes convictions for stalking and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. State attorneys argue Rodriguez is a flight risk, noting he recently traveled out of state on a one-way ticket. Rodriguez told the judge the travel was for work and maintained he was been cooperating with the investigation, that the travel was for work for a one-way ticket. Now, I will say, if he was doing some sort of construction work or any sort of work with new development, they could easily get him a one-way ticket depending on, let's say, if he's doing some sort of new development. Because I have friends that work for companies that deal with either electric and things like that. And they will put them on a flight sometimes from one way because they might be out there for 2 or 3 weeks. They don't know. They're out there until the job is done. So I can see if, him possibly being on a one-way ticket. I mean, I could see that. Okay. Now it says detectives said that the state's turquoise alert system has been vital in gathering tips. The most recent footage of Comas shows her at a convenience store wearing a white shirt with a black logo. Rodriguez is currently being held on a $50,000 bond. What now? Then it tells you, what you can do if you happen to see her or know anything. Please call this number 623-333-7000.
We have new mugshots for him too. Take a look at these new photos. But these are new photos, but older because they're older mugshots from decades ago. And that was at the time that he was sentenced for second-degree murder and armed robbery from a case from 2002. Now, fast forward to now, and he's back behind bars with new charges that police say are stemming from the disappearance of Avondale woman, 21-year-old Isabella Comas. Police tell me one of those charges is allegedly for stealing Isabella's car.
Rodriguez, 05/23/1986.
Thursday, big developments in the investigation as the 21-year-old's romantic partner was booked in on multiple charges, accused of stealing Comas's car.
And that victim's vehicle was in a state that leads people to worry about the status of the victim.
This area here near 67th Avenue and Indian School in Phoenix is where Avondale police say they found Isabella Comas's car just 2 days after she was last seen leaving a friend's house in Avondale.
Her phone found Monday at a Phoenix recycling center. In court, prosecutors detailing Rodriguez's lengthy criminal history.
He has a significant violent history, including a previous conviction for murder, stalking, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The state believes that he is an extreme danger to the community.
ABC 15 obtaining court documents that show Rodriguez was just 15 when he committed that deadly shooting. Just years after being released in 2020, he pleaded guilty to multiple charges, including stalking. Those court records show he was accused of threatening an ex-girlfriend with a hammer and a machete. Rodriguez was still on probation when he was arrested this week.
All right. So this is a charge from 2002. Now, keep in mind, he was 16 at this time of this charge. Now, this charge was what the news clip was talking about, the first degree M charge, the first degree unaliving. As we see, it says count one, first degree unaliving, dangerous felony. Now this was during an attempted armed robbery. Okay. An attempted armed robbery took place. State of Arizona versus Tommy Rodriguez. Now, he ended up being released in 2020. But as soon as he got released, he ended up getting more charges, okay? Um as you see right here, this was his, inmate profile, this was the inmate number and things like that. And I'm going to discuss to you what those other charges were. So, he's released in 2020, right? But this charge is from April 2020. So, pretty much right after he's released from prison, he gets a stalking charge on his ex-girlfriend and then also an assault charge. The assault charge is with a machete and a hammer. Now, it doesn't say he struck her with the machete or hammer, but I guess he cornered them in a vehicle. I don't have the full paperwork on it or anything like that, but I figure I'll let you know about, this charge right here. Now, the what he got for that the last charges I told you. Uh Charge file date was July 7th, 2020. He got possession of a weapon by a person who, just he's a felon. He's not supposed to have this weapon, right? Then he got aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Now it said he pled guilty as charged on September 15th, 2020. So he pled guilty pretty much almost right away. Then he got misconduct involving weapons. And he also got up here, so it's a third degree felony aggravated assault. Same date, um pled guilty same time, September 15th, 2020. Now, this charge, the felony third degree aggravated assault, was actually dismissed due to the plea on the other count. So what happens was he pled guilty, and because he pled guilty, they actually dropped this charge. Okay. What the police will do a lot of times, the prosecutors, is sometimes they'll overcharge you. Now, I'm not saying this was an overcharge, not saying that, because I don't know if he actually struck anybody with what he had, or anything like that. But a lot of times they will overcharge you. And then when they come at you with a plea deal, they say, okay, we'll drop, let's say, this charge, the aggravated assault. And let's say he never did the aggravated assault. I mean, you wouldn't get found guilty on it anyway. You never did it. Now, I'm not saying if he did it or not because I don't know. But this charge was dropped. And because that charge was dropped, he actually ended up pleading guilty to possession of a weapon by, a felon. And his charges went from third degree to a felony fourth. So his charges did drop on that. And I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Still the same thing, misconduct involved, with the weapons. He was also in violation of his parole as well because of that. Um, Looked like he had another parole violation. So, I mean, the guy could not stay out of trouble or stay away from trouble.
Fully cooperate with them every step of the way. I didn't try to hide, I didn't try to flee.
While on probation, court records show at least one violation in 2023 and note other alleged issues, including Rodriguez not continuing anger management courses and demonstrating signs of obsession and fixation towards his ex-girlfriend. Friday, Rodriguez remains in jail while the search for Comas is ongoing.
For the state, my girlfriend came up missing, and they're stating a lot of stuff against me.
Avondale police did not have an update when we reached out. I did speak with people who knew Comas, many clearly in pain. Their focus is finding their friend. Ashley Holden, ABC 15, Arizona.
All right, so you guys got a little bit of his background and exactly what happened. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you some details of the first charge so you guys can, see what happened. Now, I told you he was 16. Well, the report says he was 15 when it happened. And here's the little bit of the backstory of this. Now, I've been doing, when I do these stories, I try and go through social media. I try and do as much research as I can through family members and things like that. Now, what supposedly happened was through one of his relatives, through one of the posts that I've been seeing, is that when he was younger, he was hanging around with, I guess, two or three older people at the time. And what she's saying that they coerced him to do what he did, as in come with us and this is what's going to happen. And then they end up unaliving the person at the house. It was supposed to be for a robbery or to go get some drugs. End up unaliving this person at the house, right? And then in the middle of that, that person got unalived. And what she's saying is that the other ones told on him, and he got all the time for it, pretty much. Now that's what, I don't know if that's fact, but that's what one of his relatives are saying. But here's one thing I do know that's fact is when he was 15, okay, him and a group of other people tried to go rob a drug dealer. They were going to this drug dealer's house to go rob a drug dealer. Supposedly, when they went to the house, the drug dealer no longer lived there. He got evicted, but they didn't know that that person got evicted. Supposedly, when this person came to the door, I guess they knocked on the door, but supposedly when this person came to the door, the new tenant, the new person who's innocent, doesn't know nothing's going on, supposedly Tommy Rodriguez shot through the door. And then bullets hit the innocent person who moved into the apartment or the place, and they end up passing away. Now, supposedly that's the story of what happened. Now, if he was with these older people and they talked him into doing this, I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't have the affidavits on all of that to let you guys know. It is hard to get some of that stuff, especially when you're underage. But, I mean, what do you guys think? What do you really think? Do you think that this man is responsible for her disappearance? He was driving the car. Do you think that he was responsible for any of it? Somebody found the phone and then gave it to him. Now, I can tell you one thing. Police will look at it suspicious that he had her phone. Because if he was able to get into her phone, then he was able to maybe erase certain things. Text messages, calls, pictures, erasing evidence pretty much, right? Now, a lot of people think when you go into phones and you start erasing things that that's the end all be all. Evidence is gone. But it doesn't work that way. And a lot of people don't know this. And I don't understand why they don't know this. It's 2026 now. Technology is everything's in the cloud. Everything's up in the sky they can pull from you. So you go into somebody's phone, even if you do try and erase text messages, all they got to do is subpoena a warrant that they need information for your phone, right? To Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, whoever your phone carrier is. And 90% of the time, your phone carrier is going to have all the information of who you text, who you call, right there on black and white paper. And a lot of times, they're also going to have word for word what you text too. It happens. I've seen it. Just like you think Snapchat to go away, when you take a Snapchat, it goes away. No, it stays in the Snapchat cloud. All they got to do is subpoena that, and they get all that evidence. Okay, so if he did get the phone and he tried to erase certain things, and they knows he tried to erase it, because the phone's going to show when an item got erased, like that date. So if they see that it got erased while he had the phone, right there, he's caught. Now, I guess his background, he didn't grow up, they said that he had access to weapons. One was an automatic assault rifle in his house while he was growing up. Now, that doesn't always mean you had a bad background. Doesn't always mean that. But It can mean that. It can. It depends, right? It depends. If you got weapons in your house and you got kids in your house and you got them locked up in a safe and things like that, different story. But if you got weapons in the house and it's just, open the drawer in the kitchen and one's right there and one's right, now we're talking a little different. Now it could be a little careless. Okay. Be a little careless. I'm interested to know, even when he was 15 or 16, what got him to hang around these older people to begin with anyway? Why was he hanging around these older people anyway? Where was the mom? Where was dad? Where was anybody to stop him from hanging around with these older people? If that is the truth and that is the case, where was somebody to stop him from doing this? And it sounds like after that, his life just took a downfall. He got out. And when you go to prison, people, and you spend that long, I didn't get to spend that long. I was only in there about a year and a half, 2 years, and half of that was a boot camp program for prison. But the first year was just prison. So I'm lucky me, I didn't get to spend that long. But being in there with some of those lifers who were in there for a long time or did any amount of time, a lot of times they come out with anger. They do. And they come out not knowing how to adjust to society. Now, I'm not saying this is an excuse for him when he got out and he started doing this to this, his ex-girlfriend, whoever it is, or if he is responsible for Isabella and her disappearance, because we don't know yet. We don't. That's why I want you guys to tell me what you think, okay? But a lot of these people, and I talked about this in my last video when it came with Michael McD, the one or McKee, the one who was accused of unaliving Monica and Spencer Teppy. And I talked about the childhood issues, and if you guys see my last video with that. And I believe he had some. Well, this is a prime example of somebody with some childhood issues. See, me, I grew up with my mom, my little brother, and I grew up as a very good kid. My mom did her best to raise me and keep me, try and keep me away from things like that, right? And me, it was different. I took a bad turn when I got older, like 21 years old. That's when my mistakes started happening. And I had a rough little stint and then back to being good. All right. But some of these people don't know how to be good if they were never raised around good, if they never seen good. Because when you send a kid, I'm 15, 16 years old, they're still a kid. When you send them to prison, ain't nothing good in prison. I don't care what prison you go to. It could be a little camp. Ain't nothing good in prison. You ain't learning nothing good. Yeah, they got these classes you can get taught. But here's the thing. If you get sent there, especially when you're younger, and then you start hanging around the crowd in there, which a lot of times you're going to do, and you don't have that confidence in yourself that I'm going to be a loner no matter what happens, I don't need no backup. If you don't have that confidence in yourself, or the confidence that when you get out, this is what I'm going to do to turn it around, it's almost a dead end for you. It's almost a dead end for you. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you think that he's responsible for her or any of that? Please let me know your comments below, all right? If you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe. If you know about this case, comment below. If you have any info where she's at, call the number. If you don't even want to give up your name, you could be anonymous. Not only that, if you don't want to tell them nothing, you don't trust it, you can even contact me, all right? I'll be the voice of reason. I'll be your voice, whatever you want, all right? This is what I'm here for. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much. You've helped my channel blow up. For you guys that sign up for the membership, I'm going to be doing some membership content soon. It's very affordable price. My membership content is going to be, I'm going to have some lives, some interviews and things like that coming up soon, where I'm doing just memberships only, where you get the first crack at it, and then later on, it'll get released and things like that. And then I'll be able to do some unedited things for you too. And then also some behind the scenes things, so you guys can actually see how exactly maybe I get my info, how I put the videos together, and how I talk with, I have a few people on my team. So you guys will get access to that. Thank you so much, all right, for subscribing. Please like, share, comment below what city and state you're from. This is Fugitive TV. Please take care of one another. I'm out.